If you're shopping for a car right now, experts say there's one number you should pay close attention to before buying, especially used cars: the original manufacturer's suggested retail price. News 8's Alex Lai shows us why some consumers are now paying premium prices for used vehicles.
The used car market is starting to send a warning regular buyers cannot afford to ignore. Prices may look softer than they were during the worst years, but that does not mean the deals are actually better. Payments are still heavy. Insurance is still climbing. Interest rates are turning average cars into expensive commitments. And now, even some dealers are learning that a discount sticker does not matter when the buyer has no room left in the budget. This is not a normal slowdown, and it is not a clean market crash. It is something more dangerous. A squeeze, where people still need cars, but fewer can afford the real cost of owning one. Stay with this, because the worst deals are hiding behind numbers that look harmless at first. Big seller warning. When a small local lot has a bad month, it can mean a lot of things. Maybe the owner bought the wrong vehicles. Maybe the town slowed down. Maybe the prices were too high. Small dealers can have rough stretches without it saying much about the country. But when a giant used car retailer starts flashing warning signs, that deserves attention. A business that size has stores, data, financing teams, online traffic, advertising, and enough inventory to see patterns early. If a company like that begins missing expectations, holding on to cash, and watching investors run for the exits, it is not just a bad week on the lot. It is a signal.
That is why the recent weakness around one of the biggest used car sellers matters. The headline may sound like stock market news, but underneath it is a simple message. Selling used cars has become harder. Not because people stop needing cars. They still need them every day. The trouble is that more people are looking at the numbers and realizing the deal does not fit their life anymore. That is the piece many people miss. Demand has not disappeared. The need is still there. Workers still need to get to the job. Parents still need to move kids around. Retirees still need dependable transportation. But needing a car and being able to afford one are no longer the same thing. A large retailer can lower prices and still find that buyers are hesitant. The car may be cheaper than it was last month, but the loan still looks ugly. The interest rate may turn a fair price into a painful payment. The insurance quote may ruin the deal before the customer even signs anything. Add taxes, fees, and possible repairs, and suddenly that discounted vehicle is still out of reach. That is why this warning matters. The car business is not only fighting high prices anymore, it is fighting a weaker customer. And when the customer loses strength, everything behind the scenes starts to tighten. The first crack is easy to see from the top. The next one shows up face to face. When a person walks in and asks a question dealers are hearing more often than before. Buyers are broke. This is where the story stops being about big companies and starts being about real people. The pressure is not only showing up in earnings reports, it is showing up in the questions buyers ask before they even test drive anything. Not long ago, a cheap car was often treated as a cash purchase. Someone came in with $2,500, $3,000, maybe $4,000, and they wanted something basic. Nothing fancy, just a car that started, shifted, stopped, and got them where they needed to go. Now, more people are asking if that same kind of vehicle can be financed. That is a major change. When a buyer needs monthly payments on a low-priced car, it tells you savings are thin. It also tells you the cost of everyday life is taking money before the person ever reaches the dealership. This is not about someone shopping for a luxury vehicle and deciding the leather seats are too expensive. This is about basic transportation. When people struggle to buy even an older, cheaper car, the pressure is deeper than a sales slump. It means the bottom of the ladder is getting weaker. Think about what brings someone into that position. Maybe their previous car was repossessed. Maybe a repair estimate came back higher than the vehicle was worth. Maybe credit cards, rent, food, and insurance ate through the money they hoped to save. Maybe they still have a job, but not enough cash to buy reliable transportation outright.
That is how a bad cycle begins. A person signs for a car they can barely afford.
One unexpected bill hits. The payment gets missed. The vehicle is taken back. Credit gets worse. Then they still need a ride. But now the next deal is harder, more expensive, and less forgiving. Once that happens to enough people, it does not stay with one household. It spreads into dealerships, lenders, auctions, and the cheap car lane. People who used to shop in the middle move down. People who used to pay cash ask for financing. People who need transportation quickly become easier to pressure because waiting is not always an option. A buyer may not ask whether the car is worth the price. They ask whether the monthly number fits. But a payment can hide a lot. Long terms, high interest, weak warranties, and a car that may need work soon. And that leads to the next issue. Dealers are trying to use discounts to bring people back, but the old trick is not working like it used to. Now, if this market feels different from what dealers are saying, hit the like button. And I want to know what you are seeing in your town. Are cars sitting longer? Are prices falling? Or are the monthly payments still making every deal feel wrong?
Discounts are failing. Normally, price solves the problem. If a car sits too long, the dealer lowers it. More calls come in, more people show up. A deal gets done. That is the old rhythm. Now the rhythm is off. A dealer can cut the price and still hear silence. A big retailer can reduce the average selling price and still not get the volume it expected. A small lot can take $500 off an older car and still watch the customer ask for financing because the lower price is not low enough for their real life. That is a serious sign. It means the buyer is not just waiting for a better number. Many are already stretched past the point where a small markdown changes the decision. A lower sticker cannot fix everything around the sale. It cannot lower the customer's rent. It cannot make insurance cheaper. It cannot repair bad credit. It cannot make groceries cost less. It cannot undo the pressure that built up before the person ever saw the car. This is why the dealership side is difficult too. Some people assume dealers can just slash prices and move on. A small dealer might be able to do that on one vehicle. But a national chain with thousands of cars has to be careful. One small percentage change across that much inventory can mean a huge amount of money. Cut too little and the cars sit. Cut too much and profit disappears. That becomes even harder when the market is moving beneath them. If a dealer lowers prices slowly while buyers keep weakening, the business may keep chasing a number it never catches. Today's discount may still be too high tomorrow.
There is also the issue of what the dealer paid. If a car was bought at auction when prices were stronger, then repaired, cleaned, transported, and advertised, there may not be much room left. The dealer may already feel squeezed. The buyer may still feel priced out. Both can be frustrated, and both can be right. So the smarter question is not how much did they take off? The better question is, does the final deal make sense after interest, insurance, repairs, and time? And that question becomes even more important when you look at the vehicles people actually need most. Cheap cars are vanishing. This is the frustrating twist. When buyers get weaker, you would expect cheap cars to become easier to find. But the lowest end of the market does not always work that cleanly. The reason is supply. A lot of people with good vehicles are keeping them. And honestly, that makes sense. If someone owns a paid-off car that still runs well, why trade it for a new payment that could be $700, $800, or even more each month? Many families are looking at the numbers and deciding the safest car is the one already in the driveway. That choice protects the owner, but it also blocks the next buyer. If the good car does not get traded, it does not move through the system. It does not show up at the auction. It does not land on a small used car lot. It does not become the affordable option someone else was hoping to find. So the clean, cheap, dependable car becomes rare.
What reaches the auction is often rougher. Higher mileage, more wear, warning lights, tired tires, weak transmissions, unknown history. Dealers still need vehicles, so they bid anyway. When several small dealers are chasing the same limited supply, wholesale prices can stay stubborn, even while shoppers on the retail side are weaker. That is the squeeze. Dealers are paying too much for cars that are not always great. Then they spend money getting them ready. By the time the car reaches the lot, the buyer says, "That is too much." The dealer says, "I do not have much room," and the whole transaction feels stuck before it begins. This is why some older cars still sell quickly. It is not because everything is healthy. It is because dependable transportation under a reasonable price has become scarce. If a clean vehicle appears with good records, decent miles, and no scary problems, people notice fast. The trouble is that many buyers cannot wait forever for the right one. They need to get to work. They need to take care of family. They need something now. That urgency pushes them toward riskier choices, older cars with hidden problems, loans with rough terms, or vehicles that are cheap only because someone else is tired of fixing them. So the affordable lane is not just expensive, it is dangerous if you do not know what you are looking at. And while that pressure builds at the bottom, another kind of seller is changing the way people think about buying altogether.
Easy approval trap. A lot of people do not like the old dealership experience. They do not want to sit in an office. They do not want to haggle. They do not want the finance manager routine. They do not want to feel embarrassed about credit or pressured into extras. That is why online car buying became so powerful. It promises less friction. Search from home, click through the steps, get approved, have the car delivered or ready without the old back and forth. For a tired buyer, that sounds peaceful. But easy does not always mean safe. A smooth process can make a high price feel normal. Fast approval can make a risky loan feel like a win. A clean website can hide the same old questions buyers still need to ask. What is the total price? What is the interest rate? How long is the loan? What happens if the car needs repairs? What will insurance cost? How much negative equity could this create later? Those questions matter more than the delivery experience. The dangerous shift is when people stop shopping for value and start shopping for approval. That happens when the question becomes, who can get me into a car today? Instead of, is this the right car at the right price? That mindset can hurt people. It may solve a short-term transportation need, but it can leave them with a loan that follows them for years. And if the car loses value faster than the loan balance drops, the owner is stuck. Trading out becomes harder. Selling becomes harder. A repair bill becomes more stressful because they already owe too much. This does not mean online buying is bad. It means the easier path still needs discipline. A deal that feels painless on day 1 can become painful by month 6 if the numbers were wrong. That is the larger lesson. The car business is changing, but the basic math has not changed. If the price, rate, term, insurance, and repair risk do not work, the buying method will not save you. And when more people are forced to choose between expensive loans and risky cheap cars, the whole middle of the market starts to thin out. The middle gets crushed. For years, the car business had a ladder. New car buyers traded in fairly clean vehicles. Those cars moved to used lots. Later, they moved again to cheaper buyers. The system was not perfect, but it gave people options at different price levels. That ladder is weaker now. At the top, new vehicles cost too much for many households. Even people with decent income are looking at payments and deciding to keep what they own. Below that, newer used cars can still feel too close to new car money once interest is added. Further down, older vehicles are crowded with buyers who used to shop higher. At the bottom, the truly cheap, dependable car is getting harder to locate. So everyone moves down, but there aren't enough good choices waiting. A family that once bought a 3-year-old vehicle may now look at something 6 or 7 years old. Someone who once paid cash may now need financing. A worker who used to buy a clean, older sedan may now settle for higher miles. A buyer with damaged credit may take whatever approval is offered because transportation is not optional. That is how the middle gets squeezed. People are not neatly staying in their old lanes. They are sliding into each other's price ranges. That creates crowding where the market is already thin. This is why the situation can feel confusing. From far away, it may not look like a disaster. Lots still have cars, websites still show listings, some prices are down from the craziest years. But up close, the choices feel worse. The good cars cost more than expected. The cheap cars need work. The payments stretch too long. The deal that looks manageable has a catch. The middle matters because it gives regular people a reasonable path. Not brand new, not worn out, something in between. When that lane shrinks, buyers are pushed toward extremes. Either they take on a payment they do not like, or they gamble on a car that may punish them later. That is why this new pressure spreads so fast. It does not stay with big retailers, it does not stay with small lots. It moves through trade-ins, auctions, financing desks, insurance quotes, and family budgets. And because of that, the smartest buyer has to act differently now. Buy without getting burned. The safest move in this market is not rushing. That does not mean waiting forever if you need transportation. It means taking control before the dealership, lender, or online checkout screen controls the decision for you.
Start with the full number. Do not stop at the payment. Ask for the selling price, interest rate, loan length, taxes, fees, warranty cost, and any extras. Then add insurance. Then think about repairs. Only after that should you decide whether the car is truly affordable. Next, do not confuse cheap with smart. A low price can be a warning if the vehicle needs tires, brakes, suspension work, engine repairs, transmission service, or electrical diagnosis. A slightly higher-priced car with records and a clean inspection may be cheaper in the long run. Pay attention to the boring things: maintenance history, title status, oil leaks, coolant smells, rust, strange shifts, warning lights, uneven tire wear, a weak battery, rough cold starts. These little clues can tell you more than a polished detail job. If you do not know cars well, get help. A pre-purchase inspection can feel like extra money, but it is nothing compared to buying a vehicle that immediately needs thousands in work. Also, respect the car you already own. If it is paid off and dependable, it may be worth more than any trade offer suggests. A repair bill can hurt, but a reasonable repair on a known vehicle may beat taking on years of payments in a shaky market. Cash buyers should stay patient but ready. Good, affordable cars still move fast. Know your budget, know the models you trust, and move only when the vehicle makes sense. Do not let scarcity push you into a bad decision.
And if you are financing, protect yourself from long loans that only look affordable because the term is stretched. A small monthly number can hide a large total cost. That is how people end up owing too much on cars they no longer want or cannot afford to repair. The goal is simple: buy transportation that serves your life instead of controlling it. One more thing matters before you sign anything. Watch how the seller talks about the deal. If the conversation keeps moving away from the total price and back to the payment, slow down. If every answer sounds like, "We can make it work," but nobody clearly explains the rate, term, fees, and warranty cost, that is not comfort, that is fog. Also, look at how long the vehicle has been sitting. A car that has been listed for months is not always bad, but it gives you a reason to ask sharper questions. Was it priced too high? Did other buyers find something wrong? Did financing keep falling apart? A long time on the lot can give you room to negotiate, but it can also be a warning that the car is not as attractive as it first looks. And do not ignore insurance. A lot of people find the car first and check the insurance last. That can ruin the deal. Some vehicles look affordable until the monthly insurance quote shows up. In this market, you need to know that number before you fall in love with the car. The best deal is the one you can still afford after the excitement fades, after the first repair, and after the first full month of real expenses.
Because this new squeeze is not about one company, one bad quarter, or one ugly report. It is about a market where regular people are losing room to make normal choices.
The car market does not need a dramatic collapse to hurt people. It can do damage quietly. Payments get heavier. Clean trade-ins stay in driveways. Affordable cars become harder to source. Dealers cut prices but still struggle to move metal. Buyers accept rougher loans because they need a way to get to work. That is the pressure spreading now. So do not only ask whether a car is cheaper than last month, ask whether the whole deal works in real life. Look past the payment, study the condition, question the loan. And remember this, the wrong car does not just cost money on the day you buy it. It can follow you home and control your budget for years. So before you chase the next discount, slow down and look at the whole deal. The payment, the rate, the insurance, the repair risk, and the real condition matter more than the number on the windshield. A cheap car can still become an expensive mistake. If you have seen this squeeze where you live, share it in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay sharp before the market traps you.